Bioshock poses a question I believe many of us have an answer to. What would you do in a society that lets you be who you are? No censorship, no one to tell you, hey, you can't do that. Doesn't matter your morals, just the work you do. Inventing, experimenting with anything, and potentially building a life far superior than would be your normal mundane life outside of Rapture. And just what is Rapture? Well, I'm glad you asked. But before we get into it, spoiler warning to those of you who haven't played Bioshock yet. Turn this video off and go play it right now, and then come back to it when you're done. It should only take you about 15 or less hours, give or take.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture. A city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
What a substantial way to introduce the city of Rapture to the player. The saturated LED lights on various buildings contrasting with the vast darkness of the bottom of the ocean. It's very enticing. Lead designers Paul Hellquist and Ken Levine, with developing from 2K Games, did a really good job with this one. I really feel like it's a good vibe from about the 1940s, 50s, 60s, around that time, give or take, with the music that's playing around the game. And it really helps me to immerse myself inside this hellhole that is Rapture. It's worth noting that Bioshock was given Game of the Year by British Academy Game Awards, and apparently Spike TV. You remember that? Some of you don't even know what that is based on some of the view ranges that I have. Anywho, it was a show about men and manly things. It's made by men, for men. It's Spike TV. I don't know what I'm doing. So Google said that was a precursor to the actual Game of the Year awards later to come out, but I don't know about that. There's so much information about that. Spike TV, British, awards. I think I saw a Czech one when I was doing research. You can't keep up with this older stuff. But, you know what? Spike did give Call of Duty 4 Shooter of the Year and Mass Effect RPG of the Year at the time, so I'll accept it. Released in August of 2007, Bioshock is a game about a utopian city built by Andrew Ryan. A genetic-altering substance called Adam would be discovered and harvested from sea slugs by Dr. Bridget Tannenbaum. Adam gave people superhuman abilities through injecting it into their bloodstream. These are called plasmids, which would be created by Dr. Yi Shang. This would end up bringing the eventual downfall of Rapture, because prolonged use of plasmids would lead to becoming addicted to them, which further led to physical deformities and a slow but definite decline into madness. The story kicks off, or should I say takes off, because we're on a plane. Get it? Laugh. You know you're in an old setting when you can openly smoke on a plane, which, fun fact, was still a thing until the early 90s. Our character, Jack, is looking at a picture of his family inside his wallet. He picks up a present with a note asking him, "Would you kindly not open it?" when suddenly the passenger starts screaming as the plane begins to go down. Coming to, and thankfully not drowning, we swim through the burned, torn-apart plane until we come across a lighthouse. Heading inside, the door is shut behind us, and we only see darkness for a moment. Lights turn on to reveal one of the best phrases I've ever seen in gaming. No gods or kings, only man. And after looking at Ryan's big head for a little bit, we head into the bathysphere. Getting into Rapture, a man's voice chimes in on the bathysphere radio. He's talking to someone named Johnny about the plane crash and someone is heading into Rapture. He should get up there before the splicers show up. But you guessed it, a splicer showed up and ganked our poor boy Johnny. May he rest in peace for the 14 seconds we knew him. Splicers are the remnants of Rapture's population before atom usage took them around the corner and made it do what it do. Now, they're all pretty much murderous psychos and they come in different flavors, 5 to be exact. Thuggish splicers have low health, but multiple of them will rush you with melee weapons. Towards mid to end game, they are equipped with the electric flesh tonic, making them immune to all your electric-based abilities. Spider splicers are like the one that killed Johnny. They carry around hooks to crawl on the ceiling and throw shit at you. Sometimes they will drop down to hit you and immediately backflip on your ass to get away from you and jump on the ceiling. They are creepy as hell, and when they surprise you backwards crawling in the dark, it's truly terrible. Leadheads get their name because they shoot you. These are your ranged splicers. They usually have pistols or machine guns. If up close, they will pistol whip you, which is cool. Another feature I like is that leadheads have to reload just like we do. This should be the norm for all games nowadays. These modern games give every enemy infinite ammo, no reloading, no gun overheating, nothing. Nitros like to blow shit up. These splicers will throw Molotov cocktails at you or grenades at you. If you get too close, they will drop a smoke bomb in an attempt to run away from you while throwing explosives behind their back to kill you. Once they are killed, they go out martyrdom style from Call of Duty. You know, I used to hear a lot of people call this martyrdom. I don't really care what you call it. I just care that I died so many times to this perk, oh my gosh. Finally, we have the most annoying splicer, the Houdini splicer. I swear they were made to troll the player. They teleport when you get close or shoot at them. They cast fireball at you, which hurts by the way, then bam, teleportation jutsu. You track them by following the red cloud of smoke they leave behind, but oh boy, guess what? When you start following it, they teleport behind you, beating and burning you, and the icing on the cake is you turn your back to fight them, and they've already left. I'm being a bit dramatic here, but they really are annoying. Anti-personal rounds mop them pretty quick though. So after Johnny is killed, gone but not forgotten, the man on the radio, Atlas, asks us if we would kindly pick up the radio on the bathysphere. Atlas has no idea how we survived the plane crash, but does intend to help by leading us to higher ground and away from the spider splicer. As we leave the bathysphere, the splicer is taunting us as the lights flicker to the sound of her crawling on the ceiling. Truly horrifying, which is what I love about Bioshock, because it secretly doubles as a horror game. Could you imagine this being your life? You go to some place, regardless if it's a city like Rapture or anything else like that, and you see somebody die instantly by a disfigured woman backwards crab walking on the ceiling, taunting you to wrap you in a bed sheet because she's gonna kill you. Couldn't be me, I tell you that. You could just leave me in the bathysphere, let me die, send me out my way to sea. I'll be with the creatures and we can live in harmony until I die and they eat my body. Anywho, as panic sets in, we find our first weapon, a handy dandy wrench that Dad once yelled was not the right size. There is a total of 7 weapons in Bioshock. All of them have 2 upgrades found at a gunsmith station called Power to the People. Except for the wrench, no idea why there are no upgrades for it like there are with everything else. No damage increase, nothing. Don't know the design choice behind that one. I will be ranking these weapons as I come across them. If you disagree, that's good. Let's have a discussion in the comments about it. I think the wrench is A tier. There are some good tonics that synergize well with it, such as Armored Shell. You take up to 25% less damage if you find the second upgrade. Frozen Field makes you deal cold damage with the wrench only, with a chance to freeze the target, as well as making you resistant to cold damage. Static Discharge is another good one. It will disperse electricity on melee attackers with a chance to stun them, and if you hit a stunned target, you do extra damage with the wrench. Finally, there is the tonic Wrench Jockey 1 and 2 that increase the overall damage of the wrench and both stack together. There are quite a few tonics for the wrench, but few or none for other weapons. I put it in A tier because you cannot block with it. Again, not really sure the design choice behind that. And going up against harder enemies like Houdini Splicers, Big Daddies, and Rosies will be difficult, especially the last two. Now, gene tonics are like perk upgrades. They give you passive buffs or abilities. There are combat tonics to aid you in fights, engineering tonics to help you hack, get past security cameras easier, etc., and physical tonics that give you buffs like extra health from health packs, movement speed bonuses. There is even a camouflage tonic that makes you go invisible. For those of you who have played Fallout 76, Bethesda borrowed this in the form of the chameleon perk found on gear. When you stand still, you become invisible. Speaking of Bethesda, as I'm writing this, it just dawned on me that you cannot climb a single ladder in any Bethesda game, even in garbage Starfield. Yes, you climb the ladder to get off your ship, but it's just a loading screen. You interact with the ladder, the screen goes black, and when it's done loading, you're at your destination. I want to actually see me climb off the ladder. I don't even know why I'm going on that rant. I just wanted to share that. Gene tonics are made from Adam like plasmids are. They introduce modified stem cells into the user's body, allowing for genetic modification and mutation. For example, Slim Down was a tonic created for the loss of excess fat. I could really use that now. There is also Rejuvena, I hope I said that right, to reduce wrinkles, even one that makes you immune to tuberculosis. If only that was around in the 18th and 19th century, Arthur would have been saved. Shortly after getting the wrench, we get our first plasmid electro bolt, and I'll just let this scene play out.
Steady now. Your genetic code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some Adam on him. Hear that? Let's buck. Weak! You're a weak chopper. This little fish ain't worth towing it with no big daddy. Yellow, always have been. You'll be no better off with a metal daddy, little fish. See you floating upright.
Man, that looked painful. That demon spawn is a little sister, and the hunk of steel is a big daddy, often called Mr. Bubbles or Mr. B by the little sisters. Big daddies follow and protect the sisters as they gather Adam with their giant syringe. Remember that in Rapture, you can do what you want. Scientists can do whatever they want without the fear of the law, morals, or persecution. Well, amidst crimes against humanity, Dr. Tannenbaum realized that not a lot of Adam could be extracted from the sea slugs. So what does she do? She decides to implant the slugs inside a human host that can yield up to 30 times the Adam. These little girls were the only hosts compatible with these slugs, so then a man named Frank Fontaine, a co-conspirator, helps Tannenbaum by opening an orphanage as a front to exploit these young girls, later nicknamed Little Sisters. The kidnapping of several more girls would go on to happen as they were mentally conditioned to collect Adam from splicer corpses. The Little Sisters referred to them as angels, as well as seeing Rapture as an ideal child's world, filled with pretty colors, toys, snacks, you name it. All this is thanks to Dr. Yi Shang's mental conditioning placed on them. With the growing need of Adam, Tannenbaum would go on to regret what she did and end up protecting the little sisters, but it's a little bit too late for that, Bridget, isn't it? Andrew Ryan would take over Fontaine Futuristics. He would later discover the existence of these little sisters. Discussed it with them, he realized that he needed them around to continually produce quality Adam. Ryan would shut down these fake orphanages whilst creating his own, Little Wander's educational facility, as well as continuing to kidnap more children. You can actually find a little sister and her family while exploring. It feels bad to see a sight like that, but not bad enough to still not.
We saw our Masha today. We barely recognize her. That's her, Sam said. You're crazy, I told him. That thing? That is our Masha? But he was right. She was drawing blood out of a corpse by Fontaine Fisheries. And then when she was done, she walked off hand in hand with one of those awful golems. Masha!
Dr. Yi created these big daddies using dead genetic materials from splicers. Criminals, mentally insane, and those who opposed Andrew Ryan were forced to become big daddies to protect the little sisters while they harvest Adam. Big daddies are designed to never be hostile unless attacked or the little sisters are attacked. We use our newly found plasmid to get our Palpatine on, electrocuting some splicers. You can actually find splicers standing in water throughout the game, and if you shock the water, you'll kill all of them instantly. Afterwards, we find a medkit and Eve hypo. Think of Eve as your mana or FP pot. You run low on Eve, simply shoot up and get your wizard powers back. Atlas then asked us if we would help him find his family in order to get them out of Rapture and head into Neptune's bounty to begin the search. Real quick, that yellow arrow points you in the correct direction of whatever quest you're on. I left it on so I know what areas I've explored because my memory is awful. On the way there, we see a silhouette of a splicer next to an old-style baby crib. Sneaking up on her, she turns hostile, revealing that there was no baby in there. 'Twas a pistol. The pistol goes straight into C tier. Even with all the upgrades, it still sucks. Making our way to Neptune's bounty. Bounty? Making our way to Neptune's bounty, we are greeted by ghost-like figures. Small little environmental storytelling of the past. The constant recycling of Adam causes Jack to see memories of others the plasmids are infused with. We have to go through a theater to make it into Neptune, where we can really see what happens when a little sister is in danger. Man, that splicer got the brakes beat off of him. Moments before disaster as you see a big-ass drill coming to kill you. Inside Neptune, we are locked out by Ryan. He's been tracking us and activated the security system to lock us out and send splicers to jump us. As we run away, he tries to trap us, beginning to ask if we are a government operative. Atlas fortunately gets us free, and we are now headed a longer way through the medical pavilion. We also find a vending machine. These are scattered everywhere throughout Rapture. They can be hacked for a reduced cost. Hacking starts out easy, but is hard for you because you do not have any tonics to help you slow down the hacking speed or reduce tiles blocking the path. When hacking, a blue fluid starts and you need to lead it to the exit with the use of these tubes. Fail to do so and you might set off an alarm and or damage yourself with a shockwave that happens after a failed attempt. As you progress through the game, hacking gets increasingly difficult, and yes, you can use tonics to make it somewhat easier, but the thing is that you always have to run those tonics, and I'd rather maybe have one of those tonics equipped so I can have other ones that will benefit me more. in combat, plasmid usage, etc. You can also buy the hack if you have the money for it. Unfortunately, the maximum amount you can hold is $500. Yet another design choice I don't understand. You can also auto hack with a tool that you will find later in the game. And if I'm being honest, you can pretty much go the entire game without hacking anything and you'll be fine. Something to note is that most of the splicers here are dressed in medical attire. Other locations like a fishery have splicers dressed up in coats and aprons to handle the cold temperature and the dead fish. These little details really add up, and I appreciate that areas you go to in this game have people dressed the way you think they actually would be. Through the medical pavilion, we find a door with a powered switch leading to the emergency control, which of course doesn't open without a key held by Dr. Steinman, Atlas informs us. Heading through the door behind us opens the inner gate to the pavilion, and a machine gun is next to it. The machine gun is S tier for me, 3 ammo types to use, anti-personal for things with flesh, armor-pierce rounds for those big daddies and turrets. Even the regular rounds do decent damage against everything. No tonics for this one, but you can't go wrong with armored shell and the static discharge in case you get hit. The same for every weapon, honestly. Meanwhile, we pick up the incinerate plasmid, beginning our war crimes build. I don't think I'll rank the plasmids, I only use like 4. Just know that telekinesis, which we will find later in the game, is absolutely the best. You can get your inner Sith Lord on by grabbing bodies and other objects with the Force. You can set a body on fire, pick it up and throw it at someone. Throwing a body is almost always an insta-kill, and incinerate also melts away ice. Crazy, I know. Who would have ever thought fire melts ice? Throughout the game there are doors and items located behind ice, which is a nice little mechanic and use for plasmids. Before we find the doctor, we do find a shotgun. Bioshock dips back into that horror element again by turning the lights out as soon as you pick it up with splicers rushing from the dark to beat you to death. Now the shotgun is an easy A tier. The shock and explosive rounds are good with the former stunning big daddies. Sometimes the explosive rounds have weird hitboxes, at least in my experience, perhaps a skill issue. Really, there isn't anything holding it back besides the number of shells it holds. The upgrades increase the damage and fire rate. I honestly would have preferred to get 2 or 3 more shells in there, or increased reload speed, but overall still a great weapon. Arriving to the surgical wing is a sight to see. Dr. Steinman is performing surgery on a splicer while speaking to the Greek goddess Aphrodite in an attempt to make the splicer more beautiful. He's obsessed with making people beautiful, revealing 3 bodies strung up that he tried to fix, even calling one too fat. Let me pause here real quick. Does she look fat? Does any of them look fat? Pretty sure Dr. Body Image Issues over here is bigger than she is. Anywho, a fight ensues as he shoots us calling her ugly. First of all, words hurt, okay? Secondly, I'll have you know, my mother says I'm quite handsome. Yeah, he's dead now, so we snatch that key and head back to the emergency access control. As we head back, a big daddy is sent flying through a window and killed while a splicer is closing in on the little sister. Tenenbaum shows up, killing the splicer, then pointing the gun at us, threatening to kill us too. Atlas chimes in on the radio that we only need a little bit of Adam, Tenenbaum telling us not to hurt the little one, while Atlas is saying it's alright, she's not a child anymore. So here's the big mechanic of Bioshock. We can save the little sisters, purifying them in some divine light like the hand of God, or you can harvest them into slugs for more Adam. But here is the thing about that. Harvesting is absolutely useless. Saving them gets you 80 Adam, while harvesting gets you 160. But when you save a certain amount, they leave behind presents for you that contain 200 Adam and some random items which can be tonics or plasmids. If you save every sister and collect the gifts they leave behind at Adam stations, the place where you buy new plasmids, tonics, and player upgrades, you will get a total of 3,080 Adam. If you harvest all of them, you will get 3,360. So you only get 280 more Adam at the cost of missing out on the gifts given by the little sisters. Not worth it in my opinion. Unless you're doing an evil playthrough for the bad ending. Fun fact, I accidentally may have harvested one when I wasn't paying attention while spamming the wrong button to save them. But you know, these happy little mistakes happen, and I was too far into my last save to reload. Unfortunately, this one just happened to cost the life of a child. Ooh. Now don't worry about missing out on rewards. This icon tells you how many are left on the level, and this one tells you how many you have saved. If you happen to forget to check those at any point, a notification will pop up as you leave the area, telling you there are still little sisters to be saved. We save her, then get through to the emergency access control, finally getting inside of Neptune's bounty. And there's a dead body strung up. Sick. Atlas starts yapping about how power went to Ryan's head and blah blah blah, woe is me, save my family, which are now located in a hidden submarine inside the foundation of Fontaine Fisheries, and that he'll meet us there. Inside the fishery, we meet a man named Peach Wilkins, which will be the name of my first child. Peach is locked behind the door we need, requesting that we get a research camera from the main office after he'll let us in. Suddenly we hear the sound of hooks clanking, and wouldn't you know, the spider splicer at the beginning of the game, who killed Johnny, may he forever be in our hearts, has found us to finish the job. We weaken her as she begins to run away, well, crawl away through a hole in the ceiling. Peach gives us aid through a grenade launcher on the conveyor belt, which goes right into B tier. 3 ammo types, regular, incendiary, and proximity mines, that are useless because you have to bait an enemy into it most of the time, leading you to blow yourself up with them. But the previous ammo types are good for big daddies and splicers. Heading to the main office, Peach tells us he'll put us in a box if he even smells an ounce of Fontaine on us, believing we are working for him. Atlas assuring that Fontaine has been in the ground for months and Peach is just jumping at ghosts, which I don't know if that's jumping at ghosts. He just seems like he's completely insane because he lives in a giant freezer, in a fishery. Anywho, the research camera is on the weapon wheel once you acquire it, but obviously isn't a weapon. When you take pictures of enemies, you build up a progress bar for more information of them, leading to bonus passives, tonics, or plasmids. I hate this. It takes forever to fill up the meter after the initial picture. Then you get graded on the photos, which is also dumb, because you can have a clear as day picture and get a low grade. Or you have a horrible picture, sometimes with literally no enemy in it, and bam, grade A on it. It gets to the point that you just spam pictures over and over and over again. The only good thing that comes from picture spamming is the natural camouflage tonic you unlock once you've pictured enough Houdini splicers. There are tonics to help fill the progress bar faster, but even with all those equipped, it is way too slow. F tier just because. As we head back to Peach, we find a plasmid, security bullseye, useless unless there are cameras around. With this plasmid, you can make the camera see splicers as enemies. Simply throw this blue Kool-Aid at them, sit back and watch. Or you could just hack the camera yourself, because even with bullseye, cameras will still see you as hostile. More so useless if there are no cameras around, because it wastes a plasmid slot. Now, there are plenty of plasmid slot upgrades as previously mentioned at the Atom stations, but why would you not just hack the camera yourself? Splicers respawn, so in the long run, it's best to just hack it and always have it there. The spider splicer attacks us again. We snap a quick pic, then rightfully beat her ass. For Johnny! He had a family, you beast! Peach lets us in, but being a crazy paranoid fellow that he is, makes us leave our weapons. He is now fully convinced we are working for Fontaine, most likely due to not seeing another person besides splicers in a long time, coupled with our knowledge about the hidden submarine. A fight ensues, and it's really not too bad. Just make sure you have the right plasmids, as I did not. After we kill Peach, loot the place, and get to this hidden submarine. Flipping the control switch leads to Atlas running out to say we blew a fuse, because of course we did. When guess who shows up? Andrew Ryan, taunting about how dark it is in there. However, will Atlas see the splicers he's sending to gank him, and all we can do is watch our friend get killed. Now, let me stop you there, Mr. Ryan. You're making a lot of assumptions here. I barely know this guy, maybe for what, like 5 hours? I'm just here to get out of this hellhole. We fight through some splicers, and right as we make it to the submarine to save Atlas and his family, Ryan pulls a bitch move and blows up his family. Not cool, man. Ryan goes on to speculate who we are. We ooze like an assassin but sneak out like a thief. Are we CIA? Either way, he has two ways to deal with this mystery. Uncover it or eliminate it. Big talk for a man hiding behind a radio. Get out and get to Arcadia, Atlas yells as we make our way through the burning rubble. Time to talk about the worst area in the game, Arcadia. I loathe this place for two reasons. Everything looks the same, and those damn Houdini splicers are up my ass constantly, then disappearing, then bam, I'm in your ass again. Fireball. Then I get further turned around because I had to kill the splicer, asking myself, did I already explore this area? Can't tell because like I said, it all looks the same. But then, oh wait, no time to think because guess who is back in my ass? The fireballs. Okay, maybe I'm being a little dramatic here, but yeah, dude, this place sucks. I hate it here. During our escapades in Detroit, we find a U-invent station. Here you can use the materials you've collected from dead splicers to create items. Shout out to the auto hack tool. This vendor can also be hacked to reduce the cost of items needed to craft. Now we are to head into the metro. A bathysphere will take us directly to the devil, Andrew Ryan, as Atlas calls him, to pay the debt for killing his family. And you guessed it, Andrew frickin' Ryan blocks off access to the metro, and to further spit on me, decides to nuke Arcadia with a released toxin to kill all plant life. Here's the thing though, Arcadia was created because there are no trees at the bottom of the ocean. The trees grown here were to allow for oxygen to flood through Rapture, so wouldn't Ryan need it too? Atlas tells us about a love interest Ryan had, a woman named Julie Langford. She was in charge of Arcadia and helped make it, so she'll definitely want to save the trees. Speaking with Julie through a door leading to her lab, she requests we get her a Rosa Gallica, which is a fancy way of asking for a rose. In real life, that is a rose native to Europe and some parts of Asia. We snag the rose and head back to Julie. Now, remember when I said Ryan was spitting on me? Well, now it's time to shit on me, because Andrew Ryan kills Julie with gas as we watch. But as she dies, Julie writes a mysterious code on the window, and as you look through her laboratory, a safe is discovered behind a picture. Inside that safe is the formula to the Lazarus vector to save the trees. We also find the chem thrower in her lab, which is an easy S tier. There is a perk called Human Inferno 1 and 2. Both give a bonus to fire damage up to 80% if you stack them, as well as burning enemies take up to 80% more damage while burning, and you get up to 60% damage reduction from fire. No more fear of fireballs. You can get the chemical thrower to do some serious damage this way. You can infinitely stun lock big daddies with the electrical gel ammo type, but that one can be on the rarer side to find until you get so many crafting materials that it doesn't matter anymore. Now, the only thing that sucks is the cold gel ammo type. Freezing enemies is very bad in my opinion. It's annoying to damage them through the frozen state, and killing them while frozen locks you out of looting the body. I would have liked to see a poison ammo type given the area the weapon is found at, and leaning more into the damage over time theme. Now we have to gather 3 different ingredients with a quantity of 7 for each in order to create the vector. 7 chlorophyll solutions, 7 distilled waters, and 7 enzyme samples. I personally think 4 or 5 would have been better, but it is what it is. Gathering the ingredients leads us to the B plasmid. I really want to like this plasmid, but the tracking is so awful. Plenty of times I used the skill only for the enemy to slightly move before the bees got there, and now they just don't know what to do. He's literally right there, buzz your ass over there, and sting them. They have disrespected the colony. This is what you do. This is your time to shine. So we gather the ingredients, craft Lazarus vector at a U-invent station, and head back to Julie's lab to disperse it, saving the trees. Andrew Ryan, clearly jealous of my abilities to get stuff done, tries once again to kill us in the form of splicer waves inside Julie's lab. He just can't handle the neutron style. We make quick work of them, gaining access to the metro leading into Fort Frolic. But it gets locked out by a man named Sander Cohen. Cohen is in charge of Fort Frolic and won't help us until we do something for him, meanwhile jamming the transmissions from our resident yappers, Andrew and Atlas. Once a renowned composer, playwright, and sculptor, Cohen has gone completely insane during his time in Rapture. It's also worth noting that Sander would become a Houdini splicer. The only one I like, he's actually my favorite character. Sander wants us to kill all his formal disciples and photograph them in order to put them on a sculpture called his masterpiece. Throughout exploring the fort, you can find some of his previously made art, and killing the first target nets us our final weapon, the crossbow, and the final S-tier spot. Almost everything about this weapon is fantastic. You'll one-shot just about everyone you come across, excluding Big Daddies. You can shoot electrical trap bolts for splicers to walk into. Just don't be stupid like me and try to do that with a Big Daddy. Now, incendiary bolts are good for Big Daddies, especially when you combine it with the human Inferno tonic, and you can get your stealth archer on with the camouflage tonic. Definitely S-tier. I'm curious what you guys think of the tier list. The ranking is based on normal difficulty. Let me know in the comments below. Once we've gathered all the pictures, Sander makes his grand entrance walking down these steps without a care in the world. He thanks us by giving rewards that were previously locked behind the display cases. However, there is still one locked, his muse. Now here's an interesting thing about Sander. He is the only splicer we can choose to let live or kill. Killing him drops the key to his muse box, which is very disappointing, because you would think, oh, maybe I get a special plasmid or a tonic that is only accessible by killing him. Nope, just money, organs, and incendiary bolts, which all can be found throughout the game. If you let him live, he can be found later in his apartment towards the end of the game. He invites you in, calling you his little moth. Inside there are two non-hostile Houdini splicers dancing while Sander is upstairs in his room. If you so choose, you can leave the apartment and he'll be left alive once you complete the game. However, you will miss out on a weapon upgrade station inside his room, as well as the key for the muse box if you want to go back and get it. Hephaestus is now open and the transmission unblocked. Atlas asked us if we would kindly head into Ryan's office and kill him. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty intimidating sight when you arrive. Many splicers are pinned dead to pillars, Andrew Ryan chiming in that they all had mothers, fathers, people who loved them. He hasn't chosen a spot for us yet, but to let him know if we have a preference. Unfortunate for us, he's locked himself in his office, powered by a super core inside a factory-like place surrounded by
liquid hot magma.
Fortunately for us, we do find a bomb casing with the power of 4 R34 wire clusters, 2 quarter cans of ionic gel, and a nitroglycerin charge. We can make an EMP, how very convenient. So we gather those up and skedaddle our way to the factory, turn this wheel to stop the flow of lava, all while fighting waves of splicers, then ascend the elevator, plant the bomb, and run for our lives as rubble begins to fall. Throughout the game, Andrew Ryan has spat on me and on me. I really don't know what to call this one, because he decides, you know what? You lose, I blow up Rapture, activating the self-destruct sequence. Panic ensues as we look for a way to get to Ryan. Atlas says we can stop the detonation by killing Andrew Ryan and taking his key. Up the stairs, we find an open vent we can sneak through, when suddenly a wall donned with hundreds of notes and pictures of various characters is on display, with the words, "Would you kindly," painted over it. A lone diary is found.
Is that your puppy? She's very pretty.
Thank you, Papa Sushan.
Break her neck for me.
What?
Break that sweet puppy's neck.
No, please.
Break that puppy's neck. Would you kindly?
No. No.
Very good.
With death imminent, we don't have time to further investigate. We must make it to Ryan.
The assassin has overcome my final defense, and now he's come to murder me. In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys. You think you have memories. A farm. A family. An airplane. A crash. And then this place. Was there really a family? Did that airplane crash? Or was it hijacked? Forced down. Forced down by something less than a man, something bred to sleepwalk through life until they are activated by a simple phrase spoken by their kindly master. Was a man sent to kill, or a slave? A man chooses. A slave obeys. Come in. Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys. Kill! A man chooses! A slave obeys! Obey!
Hurry now! Grab Ryan's genetic key! Now would you kindly put it in that goddamn machine? Nice work, Bio. It's time to end this little masquerade. There ain't no Atlas kid, never was. Selling my line of work takes on a variety of aliases. Hell, once I was even a Chinaman for 6 months. But you've been a sport, so I guess I owe you a little honesty. The name's Frank Fonte.
I gotta say, I had a lot of business partners in my life, but you, of course, the fact that you were genetically conditioned to bark like a cocker spaniel when I said, would you kindly, might have had something to do with it, but still. Now, as soon as that machine finishes processing the genetic key you just fished off Ryan, I'm gonna run Rapture tits to toes. You've been a pal, but you know what they say? Never mix business with friendship. Thanks for everything, kid. Don't forget to say hi to Ryan for me.
you have it. This is one of the best plot twists in video games. When I first played Bioshock on Xbox 360, teenager me was completely taken back by this reveal. Would you kindly? It's said enough, but never overly done. You're made to believe that Atlas, secretly Frank Fontaine, is just being polite. After all, you are doing so much for him. Here is another fun fact. It's highly speculated that Fontaine got the name of the fake family he has, Patrick and Moira, from a musical poster hung up throughout Rapture. Jack, sadly, is in fact a sleeper agent this entire time. Do you remember the present at the beginning of the game on the plane? The letter said, "Would you kindly not open until," and the rest was cut off. Those were the coordinates right above Rapture. A gun was actually in the box as Jack was the one to hijack the plane. He was also the boy in that diary who killed his dog. Jack has no family. The memories of seeing his parents are fake. His entire life, fake. Jack is the illegitimate son of Andrew Ryan and once lover Jasmine Jolene. Jolene had financial difficulties, so she decided to sell Jack as an embryo to Tannenbaum unbeknownst to Ryan, on the behalf of Frank Fontaine. Jack was to be Fontaine's backup plan in case things ever went south during his feud with Ryan, which would eventually lead to a Rapture civil war and Fontaine faking his death during a shootout. Dr. Yi and Tannenbaum would go on to basically grow Jack, Yi being responsible for Jack's development as well as the mind control imprinting at Fontaine's request. At the age of 1, he was already 58 pounds with the musculature of a healthy 19-year-old thanks to Lot 111, a formula invented by Dr. Yi designed to speed up growth in children. Fontaine would go on to smuggle Jack out of Rapture on standby mode, should his need ever arise. After stopping the self-destruct sequence, we are left to die but rescued by a little sister. We fell through the vent, waking up in Tannenbaum's safe house. She feels in our debt since we saved so many of her little ones. Quick pause here, I cannot stand Tannenbaum. I feel as if the game is trying to turn her into a good guy, and while yes, she may feel regret for some of the things she did, she's still a horrible person. It does not matter anymore. While we were unconscious, she undid some of the mind control, suggesting that we might find more information inside Dr. Yi's flat, located in Mercury Suites. I do like that the little sisters have a place to call home. Except for the one I accidentally harvested. Ooh, sorry. As we leave the safe house, Fontaine finds our location and asks if we would kindly go get stepped on by a Big Daddy. Fortunately for us, we can resist thanks to Tannenbaum. Fontaine gets upset, activating Code Yellow, a failsafe to tell our brain to tell our heart to stop beating. So a rush ensues to find a way to stop Fontaine from stopping our heart. Fighting our way through many splicers, we find Dr. Yi's flat. Inside we find a diary that goes in detail about Lot 192. Turns out Fontaine was the one who had commissioned it, as an insurance policy just in case the plasmids would be too much, leading Jack to turn on him. Yi was the only other person to know about it. There are 2 doses of Lot 192. The first one causes us to lose control of what plasmids we use, forcing us to switch every couple of minutes until the second dose is found. Consuming both doses now sees us free from Fontaine, and we can head into Point Prometheus to deal with him. A sore loser just like Andrew Ryan, Fontaine, now juiced up on plasmids and tonics, shoots fire at us, beginning to run away. He runs to an elevator, destroying the controls in an area where Big Daddies are made, Tannenbaum chiming in that we need to become a Big Daddy, as it is the only way to get through the door with the help of the little sisters, because they can fit in the small door conveniently placed there. This, by far, is the absolute worst part of the entire game and loses brownie points for me. This makes no sense. We have to become a Big Daddy through look and smell, with special pheromones gathered in these areas so that the little sisters can recognize us. They will then help us get through the doors while we escort them, leading to Fontaine because they can smell the atom in him. I could understand if this were little sisters yet to be saved, but they are all ones who already know who we are. We don't need to be a big daddy because they already recognize us, proven by the fact when we killed Andrew Ryan, they were there to save us and lead us to safety. What's even worse is these little shits decide, oh, let me stop here real quick, dog, and get this Adam. So you have to defend me non-stop as I suck Adam from splicer corpses. They are super squishy, and a decent amount of the time, their AI sucks so bad they just stop walking. Oh, let's take a break here, Mr. Bubbles. No, you little demon. Get your ass in there. We got people to kill. I swear this part made me so irritated. God forbid one of them dies, then you have to bang on that entrance thing they come out of, where you guessed it, they might get stuck standing there saying, "Hurry, Mr. B." Bitch, I'm trying, you are just standing there. Get yourself together before I harvest you. As we finally make it to Fontaine, he is now super juiced and completely unrecognizable. Walk right up to him and stab. Adam sucking needle to the chest. What is supposed to be a final boss fight is pretty lackluster. You suck the Adam 4 times from Fontaine as he tries to kill you, all while using plasmids and splicer waves. Honestly, Fontaine isn't the problem here, it's the crazy amount of splicers thrown at you. I won't complain too much because the game is from 2007, and I also believe that the style of it makes it difficult to have proper boss fights. But the best part is at the end when the little sisters show up as he's finally dying to gank his ass in the most metal way possible.
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live. And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
I really liked that ending. Everyone, including Jack, had a terrible life and/or did terrible things. It was touching to see the rescued little sisters being able to grow up and live a somewhat happy normal life, now seeing Jack as their father. Jack may not have had a real family when he was a child, but he sure does now, and I think that was very well played out. What I liked about Bioshock is that through everything someone has done, could do, or will do, they bring it all with them to Rapture. They bring their humanity and all that entails. It's no surprise to me that Rapture fell, because it fell the same way other things, including real-world things, fall, which is due to human nature. The desire to have fame, power, wealth, beauty, you name it. A so-called utopian society that prides itself on being so different. Come here, be yourself, your true self. No one to stop you. Make something for and of yourself. The world is your oyster, well, in this case, your ocean, is exactly like the society it tries so hard to escape from. You're not different, you just have fancy lights and have a few less rules and laws than others do. Rapture was marketed to have no law, no government, which is far from the truth. Andrew Ryan is law. People die who oppose him, and even if someone did something he didn't like, which hurt him in no way, it would still be shut down. Give people what they want, and it's never enough. Defaulting to human nature is the true tendency. I'm going to leave you with a quote that I feel sums up Rapture. Rome fell silently to ruins. A new city rose in its place, and it was too erased by emptiness. Like phantom giants, cities, kingdoms, and countries swiftly fell and disappeared into emptiness, swallowed up in the black maw of the infinite. In conclusion, you should go replay Bioshock. Unless you turn this video off at the intro to go play it, then I sincerely hope you enjoyed the game. Overall, I would give Bioshock a man chooses, a slave obeys out of 10. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.